welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lesedi Dawn. If you are new here, welcome. If you are an oldie but a goldie, I am so glad to have you back. Today I'll be filming a video that was requested. I put up a story on my Instagram about a week ago where I had asked people what sort of content would they like to see more of from me. And someone said that they'd like to know more about my entrepreneurship journey, how I became an entrepreneur. If you do see me looking down, I've got my laptop in front of me, so I've made a couple of notes because I want to actually elaborate and expand on this, and I don't want to leave anything out. And obviously it's my journey, so I know the journey, but I don't want to be all over the place. I actually thought about it, and I thought about, what value could I provide, what elements of my story would be the most impactful, without being all over the place, because I don't want to just watch me talking and talking and talking. I want you to take something from this video. So yeah, we're gonna just jump straight into it. All right, how I became an entrepreneur. Definitely not by accident, that's for sure. I'm one person to take notes of my journey, so I remember highlight events. I remember timelines really well, and I plan really well for my life. I know, in life things don't always go as we planned, and I do know that some people become entrepreneurs not out of choice. It could be out of circumstances, whether now that we're living in different times, some people might have gotten retrenched, so therefore feeling the need to still provide, whether for themselves and their families or just for themselves, therefore looking to entrepreneurship as a solution to their problem. I'm very, very well aware of that. So I'm just going to share from my journey, my story, and sort of how I ended up where I am today. Right. So I'm just going to give you a background first, regarding my journey. So I went to boarding school my whole life, and I know it's like, whoa, that's a bit, like too far back into my storyline. It's not. It's like going to be 10 seconds. I went to boarding school my whole life, so I've been independent my whole life. That's the point I want to make there. I came to Johannesburg at 18, so out of high school, to study further. I studied a national diploma in marketing management, first year 2012, second year 2013, third year 2014. And throughout those 3 years of me being in college or varsity, or whatever you want to call it, I was working. For me, it taught me responsibility at a young age, that you don't just go to school and then you come back and you do nothing the whole day, or you gotta be productive, you gotta use your time wisely. So I watched her going to her 9 to 5 and then working on her business in the evenings, and I obviously learned a lot from that experience. So on weekends I was helping her out with weddings and events. And in my second year, the company that she worked for was an events company, and they needed a bit of help, so some promos or registration at events. So I helped out quite a bit, and that was really great, because in my second year had some family financial challenges. Parents couldn't afford for me to go to varsity, college, whatever you want to call it anymore, and I just knew that, okay, that can't be it. That can't be. I can't come to Joburg for 1 year and then what? Like what must can happen now, right? Luckily, that events company that my sister's working for and I was sort of interning or assisting at, they offered to pay for my studies. So I'm very thankful, obviously, for that, which is amazing, because it allowed me to finish what I had started. So yeah, second year, third year, still working at that company and helping my sister with her company on weekends. So yeah, did like a full-on internship in my third year at the company. And by the time I graduated, so this is 2015, I graduated February, and March I had a job. And I think the reason why it was so easy for me to get a job, I know unemployment rate, especially in South Africa, is extremely high, so getting a job is hard. But I think what worked to my advantage at the time is that I was a 21-year-old that had about 2 years experience. I think I wrote it as 2.5 because I actually started when I was 18. I was being very modest in that. But yeah, I had about 2 years experience working in the events industry at the time, so getting a job was a little bit easier for me. Not to say that, I applied for one job and I got it. In fact, like I said, I like taking notes, so I remember I applied for 77 jobs. I went for 7 interviews, and my 7th interview was my first job, my first full-time job, my first job like after graduation. So I worked as a junior events coordinator at an events company, again events, at an events company in Bryanston. Yeah, so that was my first real job, or my first full-time job. Yeah, I was at that company for a bit. I think I was there for about a year. I was there for about a year and a few months. Into 2016, I realized, okay, fine, I've been doing events for so long. I feel like events just happened to me, and it's the only experience I had at the time. Therefore, it was the easiest job to get at that time. But I'd studied marketing for a reason, because I love working with brands. I love creative conceptualizations. Yes, events is an element of marketing, but I wanted to work more on the branding side of things. So I started looking for another job. So this is me in 2016 looking for another job. I think I started in Feb. In March, I went for an interview. By end of March, I had gotten a new job to work for a marketing firm that is based in Houghton. This seemed very exciting, and obviously, it means when you jump from one job to another job, your salary also jumps. So I was like, okay, that is strategic. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna jump from job to job. I was in my early 20s at the time. I felt like, any corporate company or any company that I work with, I can excuse myself for being young at the time or still trying to find my feet. I feel like it's harder the older you get. If you are in the corporate space, to be job hopping kind of looks dodgy. They expect you to be a little bit more committed at the time. So at like 21, 22, I was like, okay, I'm going to use this to my advantage. I'm going to job hop so that I can increase that pay scale as fast as I can. So I got a job to work at a marketing firm that was based in Houghton, so still Johannesburg, South Africa. If you've ever watched Mad Men or any movie relating to more like corporate America at that time, or like old school marketing, that was the firm. So I thought it was going to be like a movie, like, like dressing up or going to the office, because the other job, like, I was aware of the event space. So this company seemed a little bit different, so I thought that is exciting until I got there. And can I tell you, where I was interviewed was upstairs. Where I ended up working was in the basement. That does just not seem okay. I worked with amazing global brands such as Mango, Chloe, CK, Diesel. The list goes on. I worked with really amazing brands. I was there for 7 months. And I know it sounds like, okay, why were you there only for 7 months if that's what you wanted to do? I had the worst boss ever. Like, horrible, those horrible man. And I hated it. I just felt like there was no room for growth. I learned a lot, yes, but there was no room for growth. Like, what I had learned is what I was going to do forever, and I don't operate that way. I'm driven by growth. I love a challenge, a good challenge, not being challenged because you've got a horrible boss. But yeah, there was just no room for growth. So the company that I was at before, the one in Bryanston, they were looking for someone in the marketing department, and they knew that's the reason why I had left. I had left because I wanted to explore more into marketing and not just be part of the events team. So got in touch. I reached out to my boss, my ex-boss. I had seen a few days ago, and she's just talking about how the team missed me and how she misses me. And I'm like, is she hinting? So the following Monday, I actually reached out because I'm like, you gotta take a hint, right? You gotta take a hint. Either you use it or you're just gonna wait for someone to fully come to you. No, it doesn't work that way. They've hinted, so hinted back. And she said, okay, you'll get a call from HR. A day later, I got a call from HR. By the end of the week, I had a contract. I had submitted my resignation and I left. Pro tip here: never burn bridges, because you never know, you might have to cross that same bridge again. So I'm so glad that I'm not one to burn bridges. If for whatever reason something is not working, I'm very honest, I'm very blunt. I'll never just leave and someone doesn't even know why. I was in my element. I really was in my element. And I realized social media management is something that I enjoyed. I enjoyed writing, I enjoy communicating a brand's value, I enjoy connecting with, an audience, and I would just literally spark up. Loved it there. And then my sister, her company was blooming, and she needed some help. And I was like, well, make me an offer I can't resist, because make me an offer. She made me an offer. And because I'd obviously worked with her before, I knew that I would enjoy it. I would enjoy the space. And also, I was thinking about entrepreneurship at the time. This is 2017. I was thinking about entrepreneurship. And I knew that at my current job, let me explain. At my current job, yes, it was sort of my dream job, working 8 to 5. I hated the 8 part. I hated having to be at the office at 8 o'clock. I did not understand why I had to be at the office at 8 o'clock. But I was working 8 to 5, doing what I loved. And on the weekends, I was still helping my sister with weddings. I was 23 at the time, and I had 3 income streams. So my 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, working weekends, helping my sister with weddings and events. While I was there, sort of not a colleague, like a friend, it's like an office park. So a guy that I knew at a different company, they deal more in tech, was doing a website for a boutique hotel based in Polokwane, Limpopo, South Africa. Yes. And they needed someone to assist with their social media, and he knew that I did marketing. I was doing that obviously on a daily, managing over 10 different accounts on all 4 platforms at the time. So it was your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, and LinkedIn. So it was a lot of work that I was doing, and I enjoyed it, and I did it really well. So when he approached me, I was like, yeah, sure, of course. So that became my first client. So 3 jobs. 2017, when my sister approached me and said obviously she needed someone to help her at her company. She knew obviously the sort of position that I was in, that I was looking to obviously start something that I was doing at night, and I had this job, and she knew I hated the whole 8 a.m. thing. And then on weekends I was helping her. So she said, okay, since you're already helping me on the weekends, I need some help at the office during the week as well. So made me a good offer. So then I left that company to go work at her company. So working at my sister's company 2017, while building my own brand at the same time. 2017, before I left my previous job as a marketing assistant, to then go work at my sister's company as an events manager, I had said to my siblings that I want to go to Thailand for my birthday. I wanted to go to Thailand. I had never left the African continent at that time. I had been to Swaziland, I'd been to Botswana for weddings, but I'd never left, and I've always wanted to explore and experience an island and just a different cultural experience. That's what I wanted. So January, I put into my calendar that November 2017, I'm going to Thailand for my birthday. Told my siblings, put into my calendar, and did absolutely nothing about it that entire year. So July, I switched jobs. So from the one events company to then working for my sister's events company. And then October, I attended an event. It was spectacular. They were giving away a few prizes. So they were giving away perfume, they were giving away free massages, a free stay at some hotel also in Sandton. And then they mentioned that there's a big prize. The big prize is a trip to Thailand for 7 days. It's like, wait, what? I want to go to Thailand. I've been saying I want to go to Thailand. Not that at that time I had done anything about it, if I'm being honest. I hadn't even started saving. I just thought about it. I put it in my calendar in January. I was supposed to go in November. And October, here I am at an event that's offering a free trip for exactly what I asked for from the universe. Like, I was like, God, okay. I think this trip is for me. So yeah, the competition was, you're gonna tweet about it, you're gonna post on Instagram, obviously live while we're at the event, and you must obviously tag, the company that was organizing it, and Tourism of Thailand, which was the tourism board that was hosting the event as well, in partnership with Indalo Media. And I was like, nah, I've got to be strategic because I really want to win this trip. I feel like this trip is mine. So what I know about, manifestation and gratitude, at that time I didn't know much, but I knew that thank you, please, and thank you were the most powerful words you could ever use. And everyone was saying please, 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 please. And I thought, it sounds a bit desperate, isn't it? How about I say thank you? And I want it. And like, I literally cried because I was like, oh, what? It's like I understood a different element of how the world works. Like, I had unlocked a different side of things that I'd heard people talk about, but I'd never experienced. So 2018, the year starts, I setting my intentions and writing down my goals for the year on the first day of the year. So I took a walk. I had a journal. I took my journal with me. I took a walk to the beach, and while I was there, like, it was the first year where I didn't quite know what to write down in terms of what I wanted. So I just said a little prayer. Honestly, I said a little prayer. I knew that I'd been planning, I'd been trying things out, I'd been moving from one job to another job, and I was honestly exhausted of that. I was exhausted of moving from one thing to another thing. I wanted to just find my purpose. And so my question was like, why am I here? What am I meant to do on this earth? What is it about me that I am supposed to fulfill within the overall mission, or the overall reason why we're all here? So I wanted answers. So I was brave enough to ask difficult questions. And it was just me and God on a beachfront having this conversation. I've always been very actionable about the goals that I set. So in that moment, I was setting slightly rubbish goals that were not really what I wanted to say. So I was like, okay, be honest, just you, it's your journal, it's you and God. Be honest, what do you want out of this year? And I was like, okay, please show me my purpose this year. Like, can I step into my calling? Can I step into why I am here this year? Please, thank you. So we went on the trip for a week, and while I was there, when you get to see the moon from the other side of the world, I don't know, it just changes something in the thinking. You start realizing that the world is big, the world is large, the world is your oyster, the world is yours. Like, all of those terms and those quotes that you've heard start making sense. And it was the most, I don't even know how to put it into words, man. It was the most amazing experience of my life. It was the first time I was traveling, and it was not work related or with family. So that was a big girl move, right? So that trip pushed me to be far more braver or far more courageous than I'd ever been. I came back and I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. I knew that, I had done events, I had done social media marketing, I'd started marketing. I knew that I liked traveling and I liked writing. So I wanted to start a business that could house all of that. So 2017 to 2019 was the years that I was preparing to make my move. I did that by obviously working and saving, but also working on the business and not waiting to move and then start, because you don't just open and then they come. It doesn't work like that. You got to think, and you got to start putting your business out there before you make the move. September 2019, I finally took the leap of faith. I knew that I was a tough girl, and I knew that I'd be able to handle whatever life threw at me. Felt aligned to my purpose, because one of the other things that I've always wanted to do is to volunteer, to work with organizations. That's a whole different video, but I knew that I wanted to have time to do that. and working a 9 to 5 didn't always allow for that, because obviously you're expected to be at work Monday to Friday. I wanted to create a life that I loved, that was filled with freedom and opportunities. So that's why I became an entrepreneur. And that is my story, that is my journey. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you took 1 or 2 things from it. Running a whole series on entrepreneurship. So if you have any questions or particular subtopics that you'd like for me to cover, let me know in the comment section. And if this video is your vibe and you want more content like this, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you enjoy it and you want to see more of content like this. And if you happen to just stumble upon this video and you are not yet subscribed, please do the right thing and subscribe so that I can continue to add more value in your life. Thank you so much. That's it from me. Until next time. Bye.